Hello everyone, I am Ramya. Today in this video, we will learn on force and its types. Learning objectives. I can recognize as forces that affect the motion of matter. I can compare balanced and unbalanced forces. I can determine the net force of an object. What is a force? A force is a push or pull that causes an object to move, stop, or change direction. In physics, a force is anything that makes an object accelerate. If an object is stationary, it wouldn't start moving without a force. Forces. Forces are comes in phase. Forces have a magnitude and a direction. Force is a vector quantity. 5 Newton north up. 5 Newton represent the magnitude and north up represent the direction of a force. Force measurements and units. SI unit of force is the Newton. A Newton is a force that causes a 1 kg mass to accelerate at a rate of 1 meter per second square. 1 Newton is equal to 1 kg meter per second square. We use a spring scale to measure force. This is a structure of spring scale or image of spring scale. Combining forces. Net force. The overall force acting on an object after all forces are combined. Forces in the same direction, we add them. 10 Newton plus 10 Newton. This force acts in same direction. The net force becomes 20 Newton. At the same time, forces in opposite directions, you subtract them. 10 Newton minus 7 Newton, that is equal to net force is 3 Newton because 10 Newton acts on right side and 7 Newton acts on left side, so net force is become 3 Newton. Forces in the same direction. When forces are applied in the same direction, they are added to determine the size of the net force. Forces in different directions. When two forces act in opposite directions, you subtract the smaller force from the larger force to determine the net force. The net force will be in the same direction as the larger force. So next we move on to the types of forces. There are two types of forces. First one is balanced force and second one is unbalanced force. Balanced and unbalanced forces. Forces occurs in pairs and they can be either balanced or unbalanced. So, first one is balanced forces. The forces in each direction are equal. If more than one force is present, it does not have to cause an acceleration on an object. If another force balances the first out, there will be no acceleration at all. Think if both guys pull on a rope in opposite directions with an equal amount of force, how much will they move? Balanced forces. Balanced forces do not cause a change in motion. They are equal in size and opposite in direction. The net force is zero. Here, observe these two pictures. The two persons apply the same force on different direction. So, the net force becomes 0. Example, 5 Newton force from right side and 5 Newton force from left side. The net force becomes 0. Forces may cancel each other and produce no net force. For example, gravity pulls down on you, the ground pushes back up. This keeps you where you are. The second type of force is unbalanced forces. If the multiple forces acting at one time are not balanced out, then acceleration can or will occur on an object. So observe the two pictures from this. If one side of the scale has more mass, then gravity will accelerate it down. At the same time, from this picture, kicking a ball causes it to move quickly in the different direction. This is called unbalanced forces. Unbalanced forces. An unbalanced force always causes a change in motion. The net force is greater than 0. When unbalanced forces act in opposite direction, you can find the net force. Net force, magnitude, the difference between the two forces. Direction, direction of the largest force. Here is an example for unbalanced forces. 3 Newton force from right side and 6 Newton force from left side. The net force becomes 3 Newton for left side. Left side because of the 6 Newton, the largest force acts on left side. So the direction becomes left side. At the same time, another example for unbalanced forces here. 4 Newton force from left side and 10 Newton force from right side. What about the net force? The net force becomes 6 Newton for right side because more force acts on right side, so the direction becomes right side. Unbalanced forces cause acceleration. Adding forces. Multiple forces can combine to move an object that has too much inertia for one force alone. The forces add together. Notice that all the new forces are pointed in the same direction and they add together. So instead of only 5 Newton of force pushing the object, now there are 10 Newton of force pushing. What you just saw was like two people pushing at the same box. At the same time, observe another picture. All by himself, one person might not able to push a car, but with extra friend pushing it become much easier. The forces add together. Unbalanced forces cause acceleration. If forces are not equal and are acting in opposite directions, a negative acceleration can occur. The forces will subtract from each other. Notice that the forces are unequal and pointed in the opposite direction, so they are unbalanced and work against each other, or one partially cancels the other. The end result is the forces on the left are slowed down by the single force on a right. So, this is all about Force and types of forces. Thank you.